So thank you all for coming and welcome to our second Mission in Motion webinar. We are United Way of North Central New Mexico, and today we'll be taking a look at our Academies of Albuquerque initiative. So my name is Kaylee Gonzalez. I am a corporate relations officer and I will be your host today. My information is listed here on this slide, but our lovely administrative assistant Magda will also share all the information with you as well, including mine. There is a recording of this going on right now, and that recording will be sent out to participants, and it will be posted on our YouTube channel if you want to watch it again, or if you want to share it with all your friends, family, or anyone else that you might have. If you do have any questions today, please place them in the chat and we will get to them by the end of the presentation. So this is the second webinar of the series. If you were unable to make the first, a little bit about Mission in Motion. So this is a series where we share with you some of the amazing work that's happening in our community that we're a part of. The conversational series each month showcases different programs, different partners, and different people making real change in our region. So if you're here, you're likely already familiar with us, but you might not be familiar with all that we do. United Way of North Central New Mexico takes many different approaches to improve our community. This is from direct services to community investments, which we talked about last time. And we also do engagement, volunteering, and so much more. If you need an easier way to remember everything that we do here, I have 3 C's for you, and that is connectors, collaborators, and conveners. So we know that we aren't able to solve all the problems that our community faces, but we're pretty confident that we can get you to someone who can. So last month, you heard all about our grant making process and all of the work that happened just last month. This week, we'll be touching on an initiative under our Rising Together umbrella. And we have our collective impact coordinator, Allie, here to dive deeper into the Academies of Albuquerque.
Thank you, Kaylee. Welcome, everybody, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come learn a little bit more about the work we're doing here at United Way and how it's impacting our community. My name is Allie Burnquist, and I am the Collective Impact Coordinator for Rising Together with United Way. I have the privilege of overseeing our Academies of Albuquerque initiative. And with a background teaching science, technology, engineering, art, and education to students in nonprofit, I've witnessed firsthand how interactive inquiry-based learning can actually ignite a spark in students. So you can imagine how excited I was to join this initiative and to be able to help implement something that does exactly that in our public schools. Something that taps into our students' passions through hands-on career-connected learning. Next slide. So today we'll go ahead and I'm going to talk you through how United Way of North Central New Mexico is partnering with Albuquerque Public Schools to reimagine what the high school experience looked like for our students here in Albuquerque. We're looking at a career-connected model that actually works to prepare our students for college, career, life. And we'll be talking about how the Academies of Albuquerque is actually strengthening our students' workforce, businesses, and communities. And if you'll I apologize. I need to move something with my technology. Give me just one.
Allie's getting fiber optic in her neighborhood right now, so we've all been there and done this. So she's going to be switching to her phone real quick.
All right, I apologize for that brief hold. Thank you. All right. So let's talk about where the Academies of Albuquerque actually started. It's no secret that New Mexico continuously ranks last in the nation in education. And it's not because of failing test scores, just because of failing test scores or academic performance. We are also lacking and behind in our child well-being. So there has never been a more critical need to reevaluate our educational system and how we can best be serving our students to support them as they grow into their futures. So one thing, I'm sorry, Kaylee, you can go back. All right, so our students at APS have actually reported during surveying that they sometimes feel a sense of a lack of belonging in their schools. They do not always feel that they are connected to one adult at school that they feel cares about them. Students are also they're not only disconnected from their learning community, they're also disconnected from what they're actually learning. Our students don't understand the why or the real world application behind the lessons that they're learning in the classroom. And when students don't see the value of what they're learning, a classroom becomes a place that they don't want to be. And we see rising rates of chronic absenteeism. And the truth is that if students are not sitting in seats in the classroom learning, they aren't walking the stage at graduation. We are also seeing lower graduation rates than we would like to have in our school system. So not only are our students not as many as we'd like graduating, meeting that finish line and moving on to some type of post-secondary education, they're also leaving schools without the skills that they need to enter the workforce. And this is happening because if students are not in school, they're missing critical lessons and they're not learning the technical or the transferable skills that they need. This creates a skills crisis gap in our community for our employers. Students also don't have access to the same career exploration opportunities at all of the different schools that exist. And not everybody's family is equipped with the resources and tools to help them navigate the jump to the workforce. This leads to limited career exposure for our students as they're exiting high school. Okay, Kaylee. Okay, so if you will take a moment to think back and imagine what your high school experience was like. For me, it was a lot of sitting in a classroom, listening, memorizing facts, test taking, reports. It wasn't as interactive as somebody who, as neurodivergent and excited as I wasn't getting the engagement that I needed in school. And when I think back to my mom's experience in high school, it looked very similar. What did your high school experience look like? What were your parents' experiences like and your grandparents? Think about your children and your grandchildren. Do you wish the same experiences for them? I think that we would all like to see something a little bit different because aside from the integration of online teaching, the core structure of our schools has really not evolved over the last century. And to prepare our children for challenges of tomorrow, we have the responsibility to evolve our education system alongside with a changing world. High school shouldn't just be about checking boxes. All right, Kaylee. So, if you will, please imagine with me a different high school experience, one where students are up and out of their seats. They're engaged in their learning. They're working with their hands. They're working with other students and community members. They're engaged, asking questions, collaborating, and solving real world problems, not just memorizing facts. Imagine an education system where our students are discovering their true talents and passions while also learning the practical and technical complex skills that they'll need. And imagine them doing this both in the classroom and in our community with real business leaders. That's what United Way envisions as well. United Way in Albuquerque Public Schools shares this vision of and this commitment to transforming the future of our education in our community. Through a strong partnership between United Way and APS, we've set the foundation for our Academies of Albuquerque initiative, where United Way acts as the convener, bringing businesses and stakeholders together, and APS acts as the implementer, building the curriculum and structures. Next. Our goal with this initiative is to prepare students for college, career, and life because we believe that every student deserves an education that nurtures their full potential. Students who are successful in their lives and their careers bring prosperity to our community. Our guiding principles in this are equity as our foundation, community connection, student voice and choice, and innovation and excellence. Next. So how do we do this? So our approach to the Academies of Albuquerque is a 4-year connected learning journey that grows with our students from their freshman year to their senior year. It starts in 9th grade with students exploring different career pathways and options. So, all freshman students will attend the 9th grade Career Expo, where they'll get to discover hands-on interactive activities that relate to the careers and industry that exist within our community. Students will also begin the Freshman Academy at this time. As students grow through 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, they'll choose a career pathway and begin to learn through the lens. They'll do on-site visits to local businesses. They'll do classroom and work-based learning through job shadowing. They'll do showcases like internships, capstone portfolios, and more that show off all of the skills that our students have learned, as well as getting certifications to be able to enter the real world and the workforce if they choose to. All right, so next. This all begins with our Freshman Academy. Before students start to do their career discovery, we begin with starting to build community and that sense of belonging with our students through a team-based model. So I'll let the video tell you a little bit more.
High school marks a pivotal transition, and at APS Freshman Academies, we're dedicated to ensuring each student embarks on this journey with confidence and purpose.
Hi, I'm Veena Kyohilag, and I'm here to tell you about the academy I attended. The academy is all about helping 9th graders explore who they are and discover what they love and feel confident as they make the jump from middle school to high school.
Don't worry, you're not choosing your future right away. You're just exploring, seeing what sparks your interest, what you're good at, and what feels exciting.
Exactly. Instead of being thrown into high school and figuring it all out alone, you're part of a team with teachers who support you and your ambitions.
Every school's academies has its own unique vibe, but the goal is the same, helping you explore, belong, and thrive.
The Academies focus on discovering and exploring with hands-on activities, real projects, and chances to try out different careers, from health and engineering to business, creative arts, sustainability, public service, and more.
And the best part, you don't do it alone. Your teachers and classmates help you guide through it throughout the school year. You'll get to try new things, meet new people, and start building your future.
The Academies let us support students in a whole new way. Because we work as a team, we share the same group of students at school, which means we truly get to know them, their strengths, their challenges, and their interests.
When we collaborate, we can design interdisciplinary projects, connecting what students are learning across classes and making school feel more meaningful. We're here to make sure each student feels supported every step of the way.
And honestly, it helps us too. Teachers have colleagues to lean on, problem solve with, and celebrate wins together.
It creates a learning environment where 9th graders feel seen, supported, and connected, exactly what they need during such a big transition.
High school is a big deal. New buildings, new expectations, and new responsibilities. The academies make that transition from middle school smoother.
You'll always have a teacher to go to, someone who knows you, checks in on you, and helps you stay on track.
And you start discovering what you might want to do in the future without the pressure of having it all figured out on day one.
The Academies is all about helping you find your place and figure out what you love with the support and guidance to explore new things.
Every APS Freshman Academy may look a little different, but they share the same purpose, helping students feel like they belong, explore their interests, and take the first steps towards their future.
So it all starts with our freshman academies, but then our students move on to choose their themed pathway. Well, they'll have the opportunity to investigate different careers and learn through the lens of their selected pathway. We know that this model works, that career-connected learning works because we can see it in the data. If you look at the statistic I have on the screen here, it shows that only 76.8% of our students are graduating within 4 years. But 96.98, essentially 97% of our students who are taking career-connected learning courses are making it to the finish line and are graduating. And an even better statistic was in this last year, 100% of our Black students who participated in career-connected learning also crossed that finish line. So we know that this model works. When it engages students in what they're learning, it gives them that real-world context and value, and it helps them feel confident and prepared for their future. So as you'll see, we have a couple of different, Ted asked in the chat what CTE is. It's Career Technical Education. Sorry, I should have specified that. Sometimes the language I use switches around a little. But so, yeah, Career Connected Learning, Career Technical Education. And so here on the screen, we have all of the different career clusters and pathways that our students can study. Next slide, please. And it's about more than just preparing our students for a job or preparing our students to move on to college. It's really about preparing them to make whatever decisions they want to make, and whether they choose to go to college, career, or take some time off for life or family, our students will be prepared to be successful in whatever they do. We want all of our APS graduates to be critical thinkers, good communicators, engaged citizens, collaborative, innovative. You can see on the screen here what outlines our profile of a graduate. These are all of the soft skills or the transferable skills that our students will also be learning that will prepare them for whatever comes next. I recently spoke with some students from Cibola High School that at a freshman academy showcase, and they had a sign that said, "Ask me about mock interviews." So I asked the students about mock interviews, and they told us how they learned how to write cover letters and resumes and practice interviewing. And I asked them, how are you able to create resume and cover letter if you've never had a job before? And this is where the students told me that they learned all about transferable skills and how all of the things that they do already in life as big brothers and sisters, as community members, in sports, music, clubs, extracurriculars, they are already gaining transferable skills that they can use for the rest of their life. They just didn't understand that these skills were just as valuable as their technical skills. Next slide. Another way that we know that this model works is because it has been implemented in other communities all across the country and even around the world. Data from other communities shows that this model really does strengthen our students. It helps to improve educational outcomes and educational, family, and community pride. It helps with community engagement and stronger partnerships, building a workforce pipeline and growing and driving economic development within communities. Next slide, please. All right, and so to tell you a little bit more, I'm gonna have you guys watch a few minutes of this video where the superintendent of Albuquerque Public Schools, the CEO of United Way of North Central New Mexico, and the mayor of the city of Albuquerque can tell you a little bit more about the academies. And Kaylee will go ahead and stop this video at 1 minute and 55 seconds, please.
The Academies of Albuquerque connect student passions with real career pathways, preparing them with the skills, certifications, and experience businesses need. By partnering with local leaders, we create a direct pipeline of talent, benefiting both students and the community. Join us in shaping Albuquerque's future, one student at a time.
So we see that students really lack a sense of belonging in school. We have, surveyed our students, and they do say that they don't feel like connected to an adult sometimes, or they don't feel a sense of belonging. And so creating these teams within the school allow the students to connect to teachers, and more importantly, it connects to industry partners. So community partners who come in to work in the classroom and to work with the students. And so students get to really start to see these role models and see what life looks like kind of outside the traditional high school. And so providing these experiences allows the students to really have that sense of community with their teachers and really with community partners to really see what life can look like outside the classroom.
The inspiration for the Academies of Albuquerque really derived from the notion that we need to engage our students in a more meaningful way. We know that in today's world, education hasn't evolved with the times. And we know by thinking about linking careers and other opportunities to learning, it gives relevance to learning for students. It also creates hope and engagement, and they're showing up every day because now there's a purpose to their learning.
I have never seen APS take on something this ambitious, this innovative, and this bold. And that's a great thing. That's what we've been wanting. And so let's all get behind it.
Righty. So who has the Academies of Albuquerque already impacted, and what are our goals for the future? Over this last year, just starting in August of 2025, our cohort 1, made up of 3 high schools, began with Freshman Academy. That was Cibola High School, Highland High School, and Manzano High School. All 3 of these schools implemented the Freshman Academy teaming model. And again, at the the Freshman Academy showcase that I went to, I spoke with a student from Manzano, and I asked her how she felt about the Academy model and what it really did for her, and if she noticed a difference even being a part of the Freshman Academy. And what she told me was that she lived in New Mexico when she was younger and then moved away. And she lived in another state throughout the end of elementary school and middle school. And she moved back to New Mexico right before her freshman year. So she was really struggling not only with transitioning to high school, she was also struggling with transitioning to another state and beginning with all new people. And she said she was starting to have some behavioral issues, and she was ditching, and she wasn't really interested in school. And because of the teaming model, her teachers took notice in where she was falling behind in her grades and where she was having issues in class. And they not only helped her to get back caught up to where she needed to be, they also helped her find some free behavioral support resources outside of the school. And this student openly shared this with me. This is a freshman high school student openly sharing with me what their experience was this year. And so I believe that that's a prime example of how the academies are building that sense of belonging and allowing teachers to have that one-on-one connection with their students, because this is really important as we try to get them through the 4 years of high school and across the finish line. Teachers also reported at the showcase that with this teaming model, not only have they been able to do interdisciplinary lessons where they've been able to learn what the other teachers are teaching so they can either relate it to what they're teaching in their classes or just be aware of what other students are learning. And also they're seeing their students are more engaged. They're showing up to class. They're actually interested and they're there to learn. So next year, this summer, we are actually onboarding and doing professional development on what the Freshman Academy teaming model looks like for our teachers at our cohort 2 schools. We are adding 6 schools: Albuquerque High School, Del Norte High School, El Dorado High School, Rio Grande High School, Valley High School, and West Mesa High School to our cohort 2. So that makes up, with these 2, cohort 1 and cohort 2 schools combined, that total of 9 schools will make up an estimated 15% of the students who are enrolled in Albuquerque Public High School that are already being impacted by this model. And that will grow exponentially throughout the years as our cohort 1 students are moving up to sophomores, and then our cohort 2 students, and new freshmen will come in, and our students will continue to grow up to senior year until it eventually is a model that will be impacting all of our students at APS high schools. Next. We talked a little bit about who this is currently impacting, but who's involved in the work and how is this a community initiative beyond the high schools? Well, their freshman academies were being implemented in cohort 1 schools this year. United Way worked with APS to create community convenings to bring key stakeholders from business community as well as the school district or the district admin, school teachers, students, parents, all together to be a part of this transformative work. We really want people's voices at the table to learn what will work for our students and what will work for our growing industry here in New Mexico. So out of those convenings, we had 181 volunteers from the community who were interested in joining our design teams. We had 13 design teams that worked together to build different priorities and tasks that would be added together in a collective master plan. APS is right in the middle now at the end of the school year of finalizing and putting together that master plan so that we can move forward with implementation teams who will actually do the work that we've developed in this master plan, create the policies, create the procedures, create all of the things that we have recommended as a community happen to make the Academies of Albuquerque successful for everybody. We are also working, United Way is also working with APS to partner 10 businesses with 10 high school teachers to provide a professional development externship where teachers will really start to begin to learn through the lens. They'll get to visit things like banks and labs and learn exactly what it looks like to work in the day of somebody who's in the financial industry or in the engineering industry. And then we are also working on our big 9th grade career expo. As I mentioned before, in 9th grade, our students begin to do their career exploration. So we're going to be creating an expo that will have all 9th graders from all 9 schools in cohort 1 and 2 come together to do hands-on exploration and really learn from people who are in the industry what it takes to be a part of that industry, what they're looking for, and just giving the students really an idea of what their life would look like if they choose to pursue that career. So those are some of the things that the community has done to support this initiative and will do going forward. Next slide. So what does this mean for Albuquerque? What does this mean for us as a community? It means that this is a group effort. This is a community transformation. This is not just a transformation of our schools and how our schools operate. This is a transformation of our community. This is something that will be embedded in Albuquerque going forward. And we want this to be something that all of the businesses and organizations and parents and teachers and community members in Albuquerque support so that we can come together to build strong graduates, one classroom, one student, and one partnership at a time. Thank you.
Thank you, Allie, for everything that you shared. Does anybody with us have any questions today? Maybe for Allie, maybe in general. And while you all think about your questions, our lovely Magda has dropped a couple links in the chat if you do want to learn more. And we do have a question. So how are students selected to participate in the Academies of Albuquerque? Allie?
So right now, the Academies of Albuquerque are just beginning to take place in our cohort 1 and cohort 2 schools. The goal is to make this a model that exists in all of our high schools. In order to ensure that students have equitability and are able to choose whatever career pathway they'd like to explore, we're going to take that career cluster that I showed you of all of those different career pathways that they have the option to, and we're going to put it in all 4 quadrants of Albuquerque. If you think of how Albuquerque split up between I-25 and I-40, we have 4 distinct quadrants. So each quadrant will have the opportunity to explore the same, they'll have the same career academy options to them. So that way it's equitable and they have those choice. That being said, it will happen in all of our high schools. And so nobody will be selected to participate in the Academies of Albuquerque. It will be the future of how high school looks for all of our students in Albuquerque.
Great question, great answer. We have another one. What is the extent of paternal or parental involvement, if any?
That's a great question. So as far as right now with the planning process, parents are involved by being a part of some of our design teams that have been creating the work. We've also invited parents to a freshman academy showcase where we show them exactly what's happening so that people can start to understand what this will look like for their students. Right now, APS is working on doing additional messaging to our 8th grade students and all of our students that will be entering 9th grade. And so right now it's really our parent involvement has to do with participating in those design teams, coming and learning more about what's happening with the academies. And we would love if there are any parents who are part of the business industry organization and they would like to have their business involved in the academies and be connected to these students. We'd love to have them at the career fair. We'd love to have their involvement as we grow and we start to have internships and job shadowing and opportunities like that in the future. But also parents, I actually, that is all I have for parent involvement. I know we have a few folks from APS on the call. I didn't know maybe if anybody else had anything that they wanted to share about parent involvement. But as of right now, that's what I have.
Ashley.
Hi, thank you so much for that, Ellie. I guess this is me asking for everyone on this call, since we have a great extensive group of folks. If you don't mind dropping in the chat, what are your thoughts after this presentation in terms of what Ellie had spoke to early on of what we're used to in the traditional school model, right? And where we're going. If it could be one word, excitement, anything in that would be interesting to see for us to be able to navigate and communicate this as we move forward with academies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, thanks for the presentation. This is I've been trying to learn a little bit more about what is happening through the academies, and excited that you guys are participating here in the area, and APS is really taking this on and supporting our students and getting them career ready. I guess the question, I appreciate your answer, Ali, a little bit in kind of the pathways that students select. And so my question, I think, is along the lines of, are every freshman at the school that's offering the academy, so the current 3 in Albuquerque, are all the freshmen required to select a pathway, or is it, do they self-select like a CEC, like if it fits with your schedule and you're able to go to CEC and further your healthcare goals, you could do that. So is it required for all, like a freshman cohort, for all of the freshmen to participate?
Yeah, so it will be. At this time, it's we don't have all of the career connected model built out. We have our current career connected opportunities that exist at APS, and obviously all of those will continue and we'll continue to grow on those. But right now, we're just doing the freshman academy piece. We don't have everything built out for those pathways. Once those pathways are completely built out and implemented in all of the schools, it would be a requirement for students to choose their pathway that they'd like to learn through. And again, that's why we want to make sure that all of those options are in each of the 4 quadrants, so that nobody feels pigeonholed into one space. And that being said, school sports and music and other extracurriculars, they don't go away. It doesn't completely transform the school curriculum in the way that we're now going to be talking about, teaching automotive engineering through the lens of Shakespeare, right? It just means that we find relatable content to implement into the lessons, and that students can also take specific classes that help them get certifications. And so, for example, I recently did a visit to another community that's that does academies, and their students said they don't feel pigeonholed. They feel more excited that when they leave school, they have the opportunity to go directly into the workforce because of the fact that they have certifications, or they have things that look really good on their resume if they want to go to college too. And so it will be a requirement, but we're hoping to make it flexible enough that our students really have that it's an opportunity for them to have autonomy over what they're learning.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right, I think we have time for one more question if anybody else has any. If you're still thinking about it, I will remind you that this is a series, and we appreciate you all for joining us today. And our next Mission in Motion will be covering the Family Advocacy Center. This will be on June 10th and you can come and learn all about what they do for the community. And before you all leave today, we would love to hear your thoughts. And if you could scan this QR code and take the survey to tell us what you think. And Magda will drop our information into the chat if there are any longer questions or if you want to meet with us to talk more. You can definitely do that. We are open and we love to hear your feedback. So thank you all again for coming today. And we'll stay on for a couple minutes just in case anyone else has anything very pressing, but you're all free to go. Thank you all for spending your lunch with us.
Thank you.
Thank
and I
you. Good
would
luck.
also promote FAC. If you guys can come to the next one, the Family Advocacy Center does some absolutely amazing work. So if you guys are available, please come view our next one.
Swim, swim, water falling off your skin.